Well, good morning. Bowtie Dave here for Bowtie Life. We're about to get a frog strangler in a few hours, and I thought it'd be nice to get some tomato plants in the garden. If you're just stumbling along finding our channel, please subscribe and don't miss out on anything. We do garden tours at the end of every month, and we do a lot of videos in between of things that are happening in the garden. It's really my own personal log of what's going on, so I can know what I did and when I did it, and you're welcome to follow along. So anyway, we have this bed right behind me here. This is the end of bed number 3. And we also have the end of bed number 2 right here that we're going to plant with tomatoes. And I have some plans. I have some seedlings ready to go and want to get started, get going, get moving because I want to beat this rain. And so, yeah. Oh, so one thing to note is if you've been watching, you know that a lot of this soil that I've got in here is very wood chip heavy. And so I'm having to feed a lot of extra nitrogen to these plants that I'm planting in here. Last year I didn't do that, and some of them did good and some of them kind of floundered. And so I'm trying to get past that and figure out how to deal with it. Hopefully next year we won't have such heavy wood chip soil, but for this year we're dealing with it. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get them planted, but what I'm going to do when I dig the hole, I'm going to put in a big area of potting soil. I've got a couple of bags of potting soil over here, and I'll be making the hole, filling it with potting soil and a little bit of Dr. Earth's organic fertilizer from Lowe's, and that helps with the root development and the green development, the leaves. So hopefully to get it growing up and big and strong. So anyway, just recording this for my own information, and also if you want to follow along, you're welcome to follow along. Here we go. Hi, I'm Bowtie Dave. Taking a closer look at this, you can see there are some weeds in here that are pretty easy to pull up in their entirety, roots and all. And that's because we have such heavy mulch and wood chips and compost throughout here. It makes it very easy to pull up these roots. So, and that's what, of course, is what you want. So anyway, I'm gonna have to keep an eye out on these things as we're going along and growing our tomatoes. I did a little cleanup. Now there is a layer of actual wood chip on top. That's why it looks like really heavy wood chip. But if I come over here, pull back the wood chip, you can see the soil is actually a lot better. It's mostly broken down, but it still has a lot of wood chip and leaf in there. So I did put in a heavy layer of my 18-day compost on both sides here. And we'll have to see. Now, one of the big things we just did, I'm going to take the camera off the tripod. If you look up, we actually installed yesterday some 50% shade cloth. And that's what happened bad last year is we had too much sun, number one. Got really hot too, but this shade cloth should help keep it cool. But we also had the big tree over there that was more like an eclipse than shade. It was a live oak or a rain oak tree, and it was blocking out most of the sun, which means we only got, I don't know, a few hours of sun in this area. But that's, of course, the pomegranates, that's the blackberry hedge right there. But this year, I'm hoping that this 50% shade cloth will do a lot better, and maybe we can get more tomatoes this year. Now, what I'm planning to do, I'm going to plant some determinate tomatoes with cages over here. We got enough room for at least 4. I think I'm going to try to put 1 in the middle as well. So we'll have 5 in this area. Then on the other side over here, we'll put 2. And I'm saving this trellis for Principe Bourgeois cherry tomato indeterminate. Not Principe. I say that all the time. It's not Principe Bourgeois. It is Super Sweet 100 indeterminate tomatoes that I'm going to put right on these trellises, 1 on each end. And I maybe 1 in the middle. I'm not sure about that yet, but over here on the far side, I'm going to put another 2 indeterminate tomatoes with cages. I've got several cages sitting over there on the sidelines, so we'll get to that. So I've got all the tomatoes placed about where I want them. Over there I actually have a sunflower right there, rust off sunflower, but we've got two Roma VF. We got a couple of Principe Bourgeois over there, kind of diagonal from each other. This Principe is in the middle. I'm doing a X pattern. We got in the middle here, we have a basil with 3 Nebraska weddings across the back there. And again, this is going to be saved, the trellis is going to be saved for Super Sweet 100, both of them. And one of these days I'm going to get this path all taken care of with weed fabric and wood chips. I do have one sunflower going in right there, another basil in the middle, and again 2 more Super Sweet 100s on this trellis at least. The basil in the middle, and those over there are my Romas. Is that the Roma? No, that's the Everglades tomato. Hopefully that they will, it's going to be the sunnier side. I'm hoping they will survive pretty well. One there, one, oh, it's almost behind the post over there. But I'm going to get these planted in. Now, one thing I am adding, I'm really fascinated by companion planting, and Brian Lowell did a fantastic book on it. I really, in fact, it sits next to my regular seat in the house where I sit in the evening, or in the morning, I should say. But I've really been fascinated by companion planting and doing experimenting, and I'm actually going to do a small row of onions, and these are really coming along. You can see they're just starting to bulb up, and I've been leaving these in the solo cups from, oh, I don't know, ages ago, but I'm going to put a few onions around in between the tomato plants the same way I did everything else. But these, of course, will come out sooner, and then the tomatoes, hopefully the tomatoes will last longer than these will. Hopefully these will bulb up sooner, but I have a cup for each side, one for this side and one for behind the camera right now. So let me show you exactly what I'm doing here. So I've got here my Sta Green flower and veggie bag. If you don't recognize the bag, this is the new design. This is when you get it, I get it Lowe's. It's a yellow bag. It's normally a solid yellow bag. They've added some more stylizing to the packaging, but as far as I can tell, it's the same stuff. It's been the most consistent stuff that I've been able to find as far as this gardening soil or potting soil, their blue bag, which is the potting soil. But with every single one of these, I'm going to do the exact same thing, just to show you the process here. So I want that Roma VF. I'm going to clear back the mulch of the wood chip. Now there is cardboard underneath here, so you'll see some cardboard. I'll be digging into the cardboard while I'm doing this. There is still some weed growth in there, apparently. It's been about a month, but you can see there's still some green stuff under there. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. That doesn't bode well. So it has a wonderful earthy smell. So put in a bit of the potting soil. Put in a couple tablespoons of the Dr. Earths. In fact, here's the bag for the Dr. Earths. I've been using this stuff for a number of years. 463 is the NPK. Shoots, roots, and fruits. It's a rule of broken thumb, I know, but shoots is the green stuff. Roots, of course, is the roots. Fruits is the fruits. Higher on the first two numbers because I want this thing to grow roots and grow green up before it really focuses on growing the fruits I want. But here in about a month, this thing should be starting to shoot out flowers, hopefully. Always keep my tags because I am forgetful. Let's See how oh, look at those roots. Oh my. These are the ones I planted out in the Florida room on camera. Those look beautiful. Those are ready to rock. So plant that at or below soil level. They are tomatoes. They could be planted way below soil level. I already did plant a lot of these seed plugs from the seed starting tray pretty deep, so I'm not going to worry about, like, this one's got a good leaf right there. I am going to pick that leaf, but you'll notice when I get the wood chips back up here, that's pretty close. I don't want that so close or in any of the dirt or the mulch, so it doesn't get disease in there. But there you go. Got a tomato plant. Now this is aroma. I don't know quite how far it'll grow. This is just a standard cheap tomato cage. I have a bunch of these. I have a bunch of others as well, but what I'll do is I'll put one in the ground here all the way. Push it through the cardboard. And if it gets too tall for this here, I'll take another one, turn it on top of it, and it'll grow into the second one on top. But that's what I'm going to be doing with all these determinate tomatoes that I'm going to plant. If you're ever wondering if you have healthy soil, look for these. I got these in one handful just now. My goodness, and they're lively and active. I do believe I grew my own onion sets. Look how long these roots are. This is gorgeous. These will just tease out eventually. I might go dunk them in some water to tease them out better, but yeah, that's some amazing roots. So as expected, I lost a lot of roots, but they still have good roots on the sets after I just doused them underwater and got the soil off. But onions are pretty tough this way. They'll take it. So there we go. Everything is planted. I got 9 tomato plants in, 2 basil plants, a couple of sunflowers, a whole passel of onions planted up. Got a little patch over here of onions. And if I come over here to the other, you can see there's another little patch of onions over here, kind of randomly placed. There's that other sunflower, another basil, and then the Everglades tomatoes on the outside over there. So we'll have to see how this does. I'm not going to water it in because right now I'm working with thunder in that direction. I'm working with a lawnmower in that direction, kids playing in that direction, and a plane just flew over pulling a banner for the beach. It's quite an active place out here some days. But again, I'm saving these for some super sweet 100 tomatoes on both sides, this trellis. And we should hopefully, with the shade cloth, have tomatoes. And if you want to find out and see what happens, please subscribe and follow along with the monthly garden tours. There'll be another monthly garden tour at the end of May. And I think by then we will have a really good idea of what's going to happen out here, what's going to take off. Now, anybody who's watched knows I've got my row of beans. This row of beans was in the middle and I tried to plant on either side. Of course, that didn't happen, didn't work. I moved the beans over to that back side and I'm hoping to plant some more tomatoes in here. We will have to see what happens. Maybe some more of the super sweet 100s because we really do love cherry tomatoes. So that's the project for today. So again, this is Bowtie Dave for Bowtie Life, where we talk mostly about gardening, sometimes about life. And just another project down. Please subscribe if you are just stumbling along finding us, and come back for more because we'll have updates on these and when they start growing and when they start ripening and everything. And the timelines and everything else that I'm going to be doing, feeding, and there'll be another phase of feeding these things. But anyway, if you've already subscribed and you're coming back watching another video, I appreciate this subscription, and be sure to keep tuning in. This really is my own personal log, for those of you who don't know, of things going on in the garden. With my ADD brain, I just simply cannot remember when things happen. And so I record videos. It's what my brain reacts to better. And so I actually will, if I'm not doing anything important, or if I'm off doing something important at the house, sometimes I'll just play my videos in the background just to remind myself of what happened and when. And got a happy bird up there, don't we? But I don't know, you probably can't hear the thunder. Maybe you did hear that thunder. The thunder is getting closer, and you can see by this weather map, it is on our doorstep, and we're gonna get a real frog strangler, which means I'm not going to be watering these in. I haven't felt any rain yet, but we will be getting rain one of these days. It's never certain because of the Destin bubble, and one of these days I'm going to do a video on the Destin bubble because it's very fascinating. The weather here, it's very unique, like a lot of places. But one thing as a gardener, I think it's important to learn how to look at the weather map and how to read weather and understand what's going to happen in the next 24, 48 hours, even 2 weeks, so you know when to plant things. But anyway, hit the thumbs up on this video if you thought it was informational, educational, entertaining, inspiring. Maybe it reminded you to do something in your own garden. Here it is, the end of April. I'm about 2 months behind planting my tomatoes. I was really hoping this year to get them out by the end of February, if not March. The weather's been beautiful. I could have been growing a lot more. Our garlic here, of course, it's growing really good. It's about maybe a month and a half to 2 months away from being harvested itself. But yeah, looking forward to tomatoes finally this year. We only got a few last year, which was very disheartening. But we are going to be harvesting the hot peppers soon. There's a lot of stuff going on. In fact, if you watch the shorts, you know that we had a decent harvest of jalapenos and shishitos already this year. Some of the other peppers that take a little longer to grow, they're they're coming strong. In fact, I'm about to do another jalapeno harvest, amazingly enough. Probably not as big as the 1.5 pounds I got on the last one, but they're there. So share this video with your friends on your social media like Facebook and all these things. These are free things that I've been saying that you can do to help grow the channel, and I appreciate everybody's help. We are working on growing this along with the whole community, the whole YouTube-wide community. If you haven't found other gardening channels, please get out there and look. I talk about other gardening channels a lot, and I've learned so much from these other channels that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for what I've learned. And so it's such a wonderful opportunity to be able to learn more and more about gardening and grow your own food and work your way toward eliminating, I got a mosquito in my ear, eliminating your grocery bill, which is, you know, we're not going to eliminate it totally, but we're certainly going to cut into it. These days prices are getting high, and this is something that anyone can do. You don't have to have as many beds as I have out here. If you've seen my monthly garden tours, it comes in 3 parts. There's so many beds. You don't have to have that many. When I started out with this, I had just grow bags under the porch. In fact, here's a picture that I like to share because it shows where we started from. Very humble beginnings, and we used that patio and grew a lot of tomatoes and cucumbers and squash and other things just in a small area. And it's a good time to learn if you have a small area and maybe you're looking for a house or planning one day to own a house. It's never too early to start learning. And I like what Jess over at Roots and Refuge says, turn your waiting room into a classroom. And what that means is you're sitting here, you don't have the ultimate garden that you want, the ultimate space that you want, but you can still do something, even if it's just a single pot in a sunny window. And that's, you know, grow a tiny Tim tomato. It's doable by anyone. So all that being said, we're coming down to the end here, of course, and I hope I encourage someone to grow something of your favorite. Maybe you don't like tomatoes, make it jalapenos or whatever. Just get out and try something. That's all it takes. Lawnmower is getting closer, so I'm going to close it up. Otherwise, I'll ramble on for an hour. By the way, that whole process took me 28 minutes. So it's not all those 9 tomato plants and everything else totaled 28 minutes. It's not a huge time involvement. So have a great day. Have a good rest of the month. And have a blessed day.